Hello guys and welcome back to another tutorial here on my channel, and in this episode I'm going to show you how we can import a 3D model into our map. Yes, this is a mapping tutorial, not a JB tutorial. Yeah, but I've started making a map, and yeah, so I had to find out, and now I'm going to show you how to do it. First things first, you need a 3D model in Blender that you want to export. Would be advisable if you make a second level of detail model. You can see I have two molds here, the original, which is this one, and then I have a second one, which is this, and wait, oh, did I? Okay, I named them incorrectly, doesn't matter. This is the lower detail model, and this is the higher detail one. You can see the differences here, and yeah, we're going to use a method called level of detail. I mean, almost every single game out there uses it, where you just swap out 3D models for ones with lower poly count the further away you get. So, for example, right here, at some kind of distance, we change the model to the low poly one, and you can see from this distance you can't tell which one's which, but from this distance we need the better one. Yeah, that's the reason why we need a level of detail. It just improves performance a lot. Yeah, that's why we need those two different models. I mean, you can also have more than two different models. That's totally possible, and actually most do this. Most 3 models, but I think this is pretty simple model. You don't need to really overdo it that much. Yeah. So I've got this kind of sign thing model here. We've got our two different level of details. This is really what LOD stands for. I don't know if I already said it. And now we need to do a little bit of setup so we can export it properly. First, we're going to add in a new empty, and we're going to call it base 000. Then we need another empty, which we're going to call start 01. And wait a second. I have that in there. There you go. I had it in the second collection. By the way, this is the curved 3D model here, which I made in here. So yeah, now we've got those two. We can just parent the start empty to the base empty, and then we can parent the two level of details to the start empty. Do that by selecting the two that are going to become the children, and then the parent, and then you press just Control P and then parent it. There you go. That is not the only thing we need to do, because we need to rename some things. Since this is the lower detail. Okay, let's start with the higher detail model. This now we need to rename it in a way that tells BeamNG at what size of pixels the level of detail will change. So if we put a 400 in here, if the object becomes smaller than 400 pixels, I think in width on the screen, I don't really know, and it will change to the lower level of detail. So if you put 400 here, if the size on screen gets smaller than 400 pixels, it will change to the lower level of detail, which is this right here, which we also need to rename to something like 50. This is the very last level of detail, so it doesn't change anymore. So just keep it like that. You need to have a letter before the number. It's just a thing you have to do. I can't see a reason for that. It's just that otherwise it won't work on the import into BeamNG. Then we are going to create another empty, which is going to be the null detail empty. And then if we put in a number here, for example 20, it will mean that after we reach 20 pixels in size on screen, the object will disappear entirely. So yeah, that's just the hard cap at the end, where just the object stops rendering. And that might be already it, except for one pretty important thing actually, which is a collision mesh. We need to create a mesh that represents the collision of this thing. So I'm just going to quickly make one. There you go, it's a pretty simple mesh actually that will define where the collision of this object are. So everything else in the game, especially the vehicles, will use this mesh as the collision. And obviously that is even lower detail. You can see it just like the outline. We don't really need a way to collide inside here or in these grooves. I mean, everything BMG is quite big, so it wouldn't even fit in there. So this is what we use as a collision mesh, and also name it like that. And just name it col mesh 1. That will be our collision mesh for this. And this also needs to be parented to the start of one empty. Alright, now with everything selected, oh my god, my German X kicked in real hard there. With everything selected, we just press Control A and apply all transforms so that we get these at the origin, and also make sure that all the positions are at 0 so we don't get any weird offsets in BMG. Then we just select them all, go to File, Export, Color obviously, then Selection only want these, don't copy any textures, apply modifiers, should turn that on, especially you have things like the normal weighted normals. And yeah, nothing else on these settings, just turn on the apply modifiers and turn off the texture options, and also give it a name. I'm going to call it corner guidance sign, because I don't really know how you would actually call it or what's the proper name for it. So here it is. Let's put it into the art folder, and then art, and your shapes, and then whatever subfolder you want of your map mod, and then we can open the asset browser. Go here, visit, there it is. You can see in the preview there, over there, and you can put it in here, and it seems to be way too small. Although that is not really the point of this video. Doesn't really matter if it's too small or whatever. Let's put it. Where do I want to put it? Let's put it at an actual corner here. There it is. Oh yeah, it is way too small. Okay, maybe I need to make it a little bigger. There you go. But yeah, I guess yeah, that's not really the point right now. You can also see that we don't have a material on here. Obviously, we need to create one first. So go ahead, create a new material. It should be the same one you gave to the objects in here. So copy the name, and obviously important would be the map too. Then go into shapes. Yes, there you go, main materials. Yep, create that. Apparently it still doesn't get the material. Maybe let's put it in again. Ah, there you go. It has reloaded. Let's put wait, no. Rotate it around. There you go. We've now got it in the game, and then you can apply any kind of textures you want. let's go back out of the editor. You can actually see how it pops into view there. I mean, it's pretty small, so it gets to those 50 pixels pretty quickly. Right around, where is it? There. I don't know if you can see it with the compression on the video, but yeah, right there is the... And actually, since it's so small, I don't think it's actually ever going to show the very... Wait, can we see the other level of detail popping? No, we can't. But this seems to be the high level of detail. Yep, it is. So that's great. Apart from the inverted normalcy, but that doesn't matter. You can't see any popping. Popping would be when you can clearly see the transition between the level of details, which is obviously not something you would want. But no, I can't see any of that, which is great. And so yeah, let's now check out the collision. Let's just dive into it. And as you can see, since the object is so small, the collision mesh is pretty small too. JBeam doesn't like that, but JBeam doesn't really like such small. I mean, let's see what kind of size is this. This is 23 centimeters only at the top. Let's measure it. Right here. Yeah, that's only 6 centimeters, so that's very small. Way too small actually. So yeah, this is what's going to happen. Since the JBeam doesn't like small collision meshes. But we can probably check out the higher one to just take and drive into it, and then we will hit the upper bigger part, so that should work out. Yeah, there you go. We hit the upper part, that's where the mesh is big enough, so the collision works. Yep, there you go. And that's already it for this video. I hope you guys learned something new, and if you did, oh shit. That's why the reason why most street signs in BeamNG are just without any collision, because the collision would simply not work. There's no point in making a collision mesh that just doesn't do anything. So yeah. Again, yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you liked, dislike if you didn't, and subscribe to the channel to not miss the future tutorials that are going to come here, and see you guys again in the next episode.